Now, although it is a gastric disorder, diabetic gastroparesis is similar to the other diabetic disorders in that precise testing is often not necessary. If somebody has diabetes for 20 years and they develop retinopathy, we understand that it's also directly visualizable on the dilated examination. If somebody is having peripheral neuropathy, we often don't do any specific tests. We just assume that people with diabetes who have 20 years of diabetes are going to have peripheral neuropathy. If somebody has a renal failure or renal insufficiency, unless there's something else in the case, we don't biopsy because we assume, gee, people with diabetes for a long time, 10 and 20 years, gee, it's got a bad thing that happens to the vasculature. A bad thing that happens to the vasculature leads to bad things with neurological tissue, leads to bad things with the eyes, with the kidneys, leads to bad things with the heart as we have persistent damage to the microvasculature of the heart. Well, the same thing could be said to be true of the GI tract. The same neuropathy that affects the peripheral nerves, that makes it so that the peripheral nerves are damaged and you don't sense the hands, you don't sense the feet, you don't sense the hands, you don't sense the feet, so you develop ulcers because they don't move and you don't sense the hands and you don't sense the feet. Diabetic neuropathy leading to ulcers of the lower extremity. This is understandable. GI tract, you don't sense the stimulation. So therefore you get a gastroparesis. Paresis is a $5 word for weak. Paresis, atrophic, weak, dysfunctional. So therefore, people who have diabetes, the same peripheral neuropathy that makes it so I can't feel my feet, and I get glove and stocking peripheral neuropathy. I can't feel the penis, so nothing moves that, and you have impotence. The same way that you have neuropathy, the same way you have impotence, the same way that when stomach is stretched out, when the stomach is distended, you don't sense that either. What is the major stimulant to gastrin release? Stretch, distension. Well, what if you can't feel the stretch? Then you have decreased motility. Diabetic gastroparesis is a combination of decreased motility, bloating, abdominal pain, constipation. It's treated with erythromycin because erythromycin increases motility, and the increase of motility in erythromycin, that this thing can often cause you to have nausea and diarrhea if you're a normal person. However, that increased motility if you're diabetic relieves the constipation. The other thing is metoclopramide. Now, metoclopramide or Reglan also increases GI motility syndrome, increases the movement of the stomach. Now, that's bad if you're a normal person because it gives you diarrhea, but it's good if you're a diabetic with gastroparesis because it relieves the constipation. What causes diarrhea in a normal person is now going to cause normal motility in a person who's constipated.